Alrighty guys, as you hear me, is another Dragon Ball Legends TOP guide video. So this one's going to be definitely late. I did put out a community note just basically saying why it's going to be late. On top of everything just getting switched around, there's so many new fights here. There's so many new, not only new fights, but new units added to the game mode, right? So it's going to make things way more complicated. I think we're going to focus this guide video more so on the path and the fights that we're going to have lying ahead of us rather than just more so the teams, right? So definitely do bear with me here because things are definitely going to be changing drastically. But last season we did end off at rank 5,108, securing the juicy 1000 CC. So let's go ahead and do it again, even though it's going to be a difficult season. And before we continue, there will always be timestamps in the description down below, that way you guys can go ahead and get to where you need to go. And finally, huge shout out to doomgeta and the rest of the Discord for all the help that they put into these TOP guides. If you want to go ahead and show them some love and support, I will be linking the descriptions to doomgeta's personal Discord, as well as the official Dragon Ball Legends Discord server, where they all have the helper role and they're able to help you individually if you need to. Alright, so first thing I'm going to tell you guys is to make sure you guys are getting your friendship rank up. There's a day and night difference between a friendship rank 10 unit and a friendship rank 1 unit in the TOP game mode. I'll go ahead and give you guys a quick little glance at it right here, so you can see the TOP stats of my Buu tanks right here, and then I'll put the side by side with the regular stats as well, so you can see a difference in all of the stats like health, strike attack, blast attack, so forth, especially key restore speed being one of the most important stats in TOP, because that dictates how quick you are in the game mode, right? It determines your priority order, if you're going to attack first or if your opponent's going to attack first, what unit's going to attack first, all that stuff. And another thing is to make sure you guys are putting on your equipment before you actually start your first fight, otherwise it locks you out of putting on equipment until you land on a yellow tile, and for the most part I don't recommend landing on a yellow tile. Alright, so now the first thing we're going to be talking about is our pathing right here, right? Pathing is going to be important because we're going to try to take the quietest and easiest path possible. There's still going to be difficult fights. As you can tell, we indicate those difficult fights with the little Dorito tiles, the warning signs, right? There's 3 in the first half and there's 5 in the second half. So no matter what, you're going to have to come across some hard fights, right? And it is color coordinated for your viewing pleasure. That way you guys can see where you need to start ramping it up in terms of bringing in your high tier characters, such as your S tiers and your Z tiers, so forth, right? Because for the first 14 fights, the win percentage isn't significant, but once you get to fight 15, you get 100%, and then 16 through 17, 200%, 18, 19, 300%, and it just keeps ramping up until you get to fight 25, where you get that 800% bonus for your win streak. And remember, there's a couple ways to actually break the win streak, so you have to be careful of it, right? Like if, for example, if you land on a green tile and you end up healing, you're not going to get the 800% because you're only doing 24 fights, right? If you end up losing a fight, that's also going to break it. If you end up landing on a yellow tile, that's also going to break it, stuff like that. I should clarify though that landing on a yellow or green tile doesn't necessarily start you over from 0. It's just that you're not going to get that 25th fight in. The only real thing that's going to reset your streak is if you do lose. All right, so next let's talk about the color wheel right here. This one's pretty simple, straightforward right here. This is telling you all of the colors that you're going to encounter in all of the fights, right? It even gives you the names of the fights right there. It's the name of the fights on the right side and then the number of the tile, right? So 1 through 25. So you can see for the reds, there's 32 reds you're going to encounter, 28 yellows, 28 purples, 31 greens, and 29 blues. So it's actually pretty evenly distributed. Reds, there's going to be the most of them, but what I really want you guys to pay attention to is the ones that are highlighted in orange and red. Those are the difficult fights you're going to see across the season. If you're paying attention to any of the colors in particular, it's going to be for those fights. For example, in the Majin Buu's fight, there's 3 greens, so that's pretty telling for you to have at least one strong purple on your team, right? The Majin Buu saga is pretty spread out, but it does have 2 blues, so maybe you do want to bring a green in there. It's just stuff like that that you do want to watch out for. And then next we do have the cover change wheel. Basically, well, it's not necessarily a will. I mean, neither is the color, but oh well. This is going to tell you how many strike cover changes / arts nullifications there are for strike, blast, and then the universal ones. There's no universal ones, surprisingly, right? But look at how many strike cover changes there are. There's 20 of them. 20 strike cover changes, and there's only there's a couple arts nullification for the strike, but for blast, it's only 5. It's 5 and then 2 arts nullification. You are going to have way more of an easier time bringing in a blast team for this season than you are bringing a strike team. If you want to bring a strike team in because you think you got it like that, then go ahead, but I definitely recommend going the easier route and then bringing in a blast team. So for the first fight that you are going to come across, it is this GT fight. There's 3 greens here. One of those greens is the tag Super Saiyan 4s. The Kid Goku, he is going to stun you on turn 2, so if you want to avoid that, you might want to target him earlier, but definitely I think the high priorities here is the tag unit and then the Kid Goku. Next we have this fight. I'm not too worried about this one right here, just worry about the Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku. That dude will super you at the start of turn 2. Hit has a strike cover change for someone here, so you also have to be cautious of that. And then we also have the Super Saiyan 3 fight right here. I would say the biggest threat is going to be this purple Goku. This dude has so much support. I believe he's giving like a massive amount of support on turn 3 for like special move gauge charge rate and then inflicted damage. He's just a great unit overall. He's brand new. Like, he's spanking new. This guy, he does have a stun. Turn 1, nothing you can do about it unless you have a unit like Garlic Jr. that's going to nullify all that stuff. And so now we have this new event exclusive fight. You have the Raditz on here. If you guys don't know, Raditz does super you. So for this one, I do suggest you go for the Raditz first. Then you go for the green DKP. Oh my goodness, it cannot speak, but that guy does have debuffs. And then probably the green Frieza, he kind of acts like as a Naval in a way, right? If you guys know what Naval does, he's like a healer for Frieza Force and stuff like that. Then the Broly, he's giving you debuffs for blast damage received, the Cell, and then Bojack at the end. And then next we have this new LOE team right here. So the red Frieza is going to stun you, right? The blue Frost is going to stun you on turn 2, so that's going to be very fun. But in terms of like who's going to be doing the most damage to you, it's definitely going to be this red Cooler. That's going to be one of your high priorities. And so basically the Cooler and then the stunners, and then you probably go for the yellow Frieza, the green Frieza, and then the revival last, because there's also the revival here. And then we have another variation of the event exclusive fight right here. This is going to be, you're going to want to go for the free-to-play base Broly first, the metal Cooler, the Android 13, the green Cooler, the legendary Super Saiyan Blue Broly, and then the purple one at the end. This guy does have a barrier, that's why you do want to go for him last, but this one doesn't look too bad. Then here's another one of those difficult fights. This is the Majin Buu Saga. This one is rough because now you have the fusing Vegito in here. The first unit you're going to want to go for is going to be the Ultimate Gohan. Then you're going to go for the Supreme Kai, the Vegito himself. You kind of, I feel like you do want to get him before he actually fuses, which is going to be like on turn 3. And then after that, you go for the Evil Buu, the 18, and then Kid Buu. This one, we're going to have to get a little bit used to this one. This one's going to be pretty difficult. And then after that, when you do come across this fight, these guys actually have decent support. They act in a way that the fat Gotenks does, but they do require like 3 or 4 Turles Crusher Corps on the team, and which obviously this setup doesn't have. Bujin is going to stun you on turn 2 though, so definitely get him out of the way first. So for this fight, I think the Green Gogeta is still the biggest threat. I know there's Super Vegeta right there, the Omega's right there too. I'm pretty sure you're going to end up going for the Omega last, but the Super Gogeta, he is going to get 100% to his super attack on turn 3. And then alongside of that, he's going to stun you. So not only is he going to do a buttload of damage, he's also going to stun the unit. Don't let him do that. Next, we have this Regeneration, or this all Piccolo fight. This is another one of the difficult fights right here. This is a brand new fight too. For this one, you probably should go for the Ma Jr. first, which is the DB Saga Piccolo, and then the DKP because he's giving all those debuffs off and stuff like that. And then you got to go for the LF Piccolo. If not earlier, right, because the LF Piccolo is going to super attack you on turn 3, so you have a little bit of leeway there, but you do want to get him out before he hits you with that. He also is pretty fast in terms of key restore speed, so keep that in mind. And then after those 3, you probably go for the red ribbon Piccolo, the fused Kami Piccolo, and then the orange Piccolo last because that is revival. As a rule of thumb, you typically do go for the revival units last because you probably might need to finish them off with the rush. And so here's an oldie but a goodie right here. This is one of the OG hard fights. We used to look at this and be like, oh, this is going to be annoying as hell, right? But now look at where we're at. Anyways, this fight is a little bit easier for strike teams, if I'm being 100% honest with you, simply because of the fact that strike teams can kind of ignore this Frieza, right? Because this Frieza, once he gets hit with a blast arts, he mitigates it and then gets 100% to his special move gauge. In order to avoid that, you can just go for him first, let him eat that first blast arts, and then because he has really low key restore speed, he's going to attack last, giving you enough time to kill him before he even launches it. But the issue here is that this guy gets a super attack on turn 2, and he's pretty quick too. So I mean, if you can kill him and the Goku in turn 1, I think that is absolutely ideal. And if you're running a strike team this season for whatever reason, for your own pride, then you kind of are chilling this fight. You just have to go for the Goku first. Do keep in mind that the Bojack right here, this yellow one, he does have a barrier. Alright, so the next fight is going against Shadow Dragons. I honestly, even though Omega is going to be an issue right here, this guy, you don't really have to worry about the Rage Shinron too much. I know that on our run we listed him as phenomenal, right? Because once he kills an enemy and there's like 5 or less enemies remaining, he activates a taunt mechanic. He's not going to kill us, so we don't have to worry about his taunt mechanic, if that makes sense, right? So we're free to go ahead and just nuke him whenever it may be. And then we go for this Ultra Omega last, remember, because you always want to go for him. He starts like debuffing or buffing his allies once he gets below 50% HP, I believe it is. So next we have Legends Road. So I'm actually familiar with this fight. We've had this fight in the past. You got to go for Trunks first, dude. You have to go for Trunks first, because the Trunks gimmick is that every time a Gohan ally dies, he gets 100% to his special move gauge. I've been super attacked 2 times back to back by this dude, right? So for example, if you kill this Gohan first, that's a super attack for him. I don't know if this Great Saiyaman counts as a Gohan character and it allows him to proc that, and I don't really want to test it. So just go for the Trunks first, then you go for the Green Gohan, you go for the Great Saiyaman, you go for the Piccolo, you go for the Gotenks, and then Goku at the end because he does mitigate that 1 blast arts. And next we have this GT Saga right here, right? So you're going to go for the Pan first, and then you're also going to be avoiding the left and right lane debuffs that the Red Goku is going to be placing onto you. You're going to go after that, you're going to go for the Super Saiyan 3 Kid Goku. That guy's going to stun you, nothing you can do about that. Then you go for the Red Rildo, the Trunks, and then the Yellow Rildo. The only thing here is that I guess I would have to see the placement, but the Yellow Rildo does have a cover change against special moves. So depending on who he's covering, just be cautious of that. So now we have another hard fight. The Baldies fight is what we're dubbing this one right here. So you're going to want to go for the Garlic first. Hopefully, more than likely, kill him before he even transforms. Then you go for the Roshi, the Twins, the Extreme Units, and then the Revival Nappa last. And then right above it is the Majin Buu fight right here. So another Majin Buu saga, but it's just all Buus this time around. So you do go for the Ultra Buu first, and then you're going to go for the Green Evil Buu. The Super Buu, he stuns you on turn 3, so you kind of want to get him before that happens. Right, then you go for the Green Free-to-Play Kid Buu. That guy's constantly debuffing you, unfortunately. The purple, or the red Buuhan, and then Fat Buu at the end. And do keep in mind the Fat Buu is debuffing. I believe it's the middle row. Alright, so next is a new version of the Mohawks fight, Mohawks V2. So for this one, you're going to want to take out that Green 16 first, the Supreme Kai second, and then you'll go for the Young Nappa, both of the extremes, and then Zamasu last. We always go for the Zamasu last, that blue one at least. And then that Zamasu is also placing debuffs on your board. Specifically, he's placing it at the bottom row of your own board. And so for the next fight that we are going to take a look at is this Baby Saga for GT. So the Super Baby 2, he has a strike counter. So if you using a blast team, you don't really have to worry about it, right? But he is a high priority target anyways. And then after him, go for the Green Baby Trunks. Then Bula for all the support that she has, the Super Saiyan for Purple Goku, the Majub, and then the Green Baby last. That dude will go down pretty easy. Next we have the Cooler Squad. So for this one, you definitely do go for the LF Cooler first once again. Right, I'm pretty sure the last time he made an appearance, we went for him first as well. And then the Green Thouser, that guy, he's basically pocketing a Cooler unit significantly. And then after that, you go for the Green Free-to-Play Cooler, the Extreme Units, and then the Purple Cooler last, because once you hit him, he's buffing, I believe it's all Sagas from the movies allies. Alright, so now let's take a look at some of these teams. So I think I'm going to do it a little bit differently. Instead of showing like characters as well, I just want to briefly touch on the teams, and pay attention to the graphic that is shown before I'm actually going into the teams, because that's going to guide you as to what all the icons mean right here. So for this team, you have all your boost units right here. We took the role of core unit off of the Super Saiyan Goku. This is going to be updated a little bit more across all teams. We're going to start giving them a different icon to just indicate that they're healers, not necessarily needed, right? I mean, Gohan, that Tauntaun definitely does want a healer, so he might be core unit on this team. But if you can get another healer in there, then someone just to just constantly heal that Gohan, that's going to be what you want. But this is the blast version of the Tauntaun team. And then inversely, we have the strike version right here. Pretty similar units for your boost units. A lot of Z tier boost, right, as indicated by the red icon. But I would say keep in mind that the Gohans, the future Gohan, the extreme one, and the sparking one, they both have Zenkais. They do favor blast more, so use them if they're a last resort and you really need to use a strike team for this. Same thing with the Super Saiyan 2 EX Gohan that I have on there as well. You do have a new unit being included right here with the Daima Goku, as you can see below. He actually does seem pretty solid. This team's good though, because you do have like the hills, you have the Tauntaun mechanic. Goten's also healing too. The red Goku has a super attack like every other fight, because he's getting 50% a fight. The blue Kaioken Goku, or not the blue one, the yellow Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku, he's getting a super attack turn 2. And then Beast Gohan is just phenomenal, really good against powerful opponent units, and there's a lot of powerful opponents, or he's really good against powerful opponents enemies, and you're gonna see a lot of those this season. So next we do have uni reps. So for your boost units, you do have the Dispo, the Topo. Those guys are pretty good. They work really synonymously with each other, right? They feed off of each other heavily, because Topo's giving crit buffs to the team and Dispo's getting a lot of crit damage, so you know, kind of goes hand in hand right there. Core units, you do got Berg. He is going to be your HP buffer, and then you also have Kale, who probably is going to lose the core unit role as well, just because she's more so there for a healer role. She might just get a healer icon, right? Then you have MVP 17, who's pretty much almost a core unit. He's really good for the team. He has great support. You have Kaba right there, who's also a boost unit, a Zenkai unit. He's giving blast debuffs. You have the Jiren's turn 1 stun, plus the Zenkai stats. That's always nice. And then you have the Golden Glizzy right there. This dude, the Golden Glizzy. So you always want him on a yellow tile. I'm telling you guys this right now, because he's getting a super attack on turn 1. Turn that into an ultimate, and then you apply even more debuffs to the enemy team, right? And if there's an X amount of enemies remaining on the 4th turn, he is going to get another super that automatically turns into the ultimate. So possibly just getting 2 ults with him every fight is really, really nice, really, really strong. And then inversely, we have the strike version of the Uni Reps team right here. Kiawe does offer slight heals. She's probably going to get the healer role, but definitely not the core unit role. For boost units, you have the purple EX Berg, and then you have the Topo. He's going to go ahead and slide on here as well. Crit buffs for the entire team, right? And then you have you also have the red Berg on here still for the HP buffer, the Kale on here for the healer, MUI for the auto dodge. You have the Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken for your guaranteed super on turn 2, and then Khalifa is here just to add a little bit more to that boost. Remember, you do want a total of 30%. S units give you 10%, Z units give you 20%, right? So if you run 1 Z and an S, you're good to go. If you run 3 S's, you're good to go. One thing that I will mention here is that we added, so hits, typically ultras are runnable at 5 stars. I'm pretty sure every ultra is runnable at 5 stars except for that hit. So you do see he does have the pink star icon now. Aflac used him. Aflac didn't have a great time using him, so we upped the recommendation for his star count. So next we got the androids right here. Cell Jr. as one of your Z tiers. The second form Cell is one of your Z tiers. That guy also has a stun, which is nice. And then on the main roster, you have the green 21, guaranteed stun turn 2. You have MVP 17, just being the MVP he is. You have the red 21, support Hellfighter 17, the purple one, debuffing, supporting. Gammas 1 and 2, tag units are just amazing. And then you also have the yellow Android 18 up there, who offers a heal too, right? So again, one of those units that's more than likely going to get that healer role. Next, we have Sagas from the movie. Sagas from the movie is looking way better this season than last season. I don't even think we touched on them last season, but this is going to be the blast variation. You have the green Frieza Z tier, the red Turles on S tier. For core units, you have that Master Roshi right there. Don't run him at 3 stars, please. But you do want him at a 7-star recommendation. He is going to be your max HP buffer, right? The base Broly, giving blast-based debuffs to the enemy team. Red Frieza has that guaranteed stun turn 1. Fat Gotenks giving that board-wide support. Beast Gohan being amazing. And then you have the awakened the potential unleashed Piccolo Yellow Piccolo, whatever you want to call him, superhero Piccolo. And then on the opposite side of things, we do have the strike-based version right here. You have Thouser and Cooler working together right there. They're in love. They want to be next to each other, or well, specifically, Cooler wants to be behind Thouser at all times, if you know what I mean. He keep him pocketed, right? And that works for the blue Cooler, it works for the red Cooler, whichever Cooler you may need. Obviously, that red Cooler is going to have great damage. Tapion has a similar effect. He's going to be healing just one unit behind him. So if someone's in a really tight pinch, slap him behind Tapion, let him kind of heal up a little bit. And you got Beast Gohan on here still. He swings both ways. Remember, if you see a strike unit on a blast team, you're probably going to swap that strike unit's strategy over to blast. You know what I mean? And then you have Videl on here. Videl's really good, has great support, and then you have the Pan as your core unit buffing the max base HP. Next, we got event exclusives. You're gonna see some stars on here on these units, like especially at the bottom you see with the Bojack, he has a red star on him. Ideally, all these units need to be 14 stars. I do not give you guys any slack for the event exclusive team. All of these units should be 4. If you're gonna attempt this team, you need to have 14 stars on all of them. You have your boost unit Metal Cooler, boost unit Monray, I believe that dude's name is, core unit Naval. Naval is the GOAT. He's also a mainstay on Frieza Force, who we'll be talking about later, but he does offer heals. That's why he has the core unit role, plus supports. The Pui Pui offers max HP base Z ability, and then the 18 also has some slight heals there too. So again, you're gonna kind of just keep seeing these graphics evolve. I don't want to be like an icon hell where you guys are just overloaded with nothing but icons, but I think it is nice to indicate what units are the healers and so forth, right? Goku Black and Broly both are putting debuffs on the enemy team, and then that purple Goku has some really good support. Like specifically, he's increasing your damage on turn 3, and then he's also increasing your special move gauge charge rate on turn 3 too, so probably going to be able to like just pop out those supers a lot quicker. Alright, so next we do have Saiyans. So this is the blast version. Do keep in mind that the Buu Duo here, they just got a Zenkai. If you can Zenkai them, please do so, right? They're already at a 7-star recommendation, so if you're following those recommendations, i.e. 7 stars, you should be able to Zenkai them, right? For your boost units, you have the Vegeta, the GT Vegeta specifically. That guy, you do want him at the pink star recommendation, and you also do have the Turles right there, the red one. That guy's pretty solid. The red Turles has like self-sustain, stuff like that. I really like him a lot. And another boost unit, you do have the Namek Goku, who also acts as a healer. And keep in mind, the reason why we stripped him of the core unit status is because he's not healing every single turn. I believe it is a one-time heal, or actually, let me double check that. Yeah, so it's a one-time heal of 5%, so it's not like he's constantly pumping you with heals or anything like that, right? You do have a lot of some strong Zenkai units here, like the purple MUI, gonna have that auto dodge. The Eva Vegeta is pretty strong. The free-to-play Raditz is a little bit of a sleeper unit right there. He gets a super attack turn 1. He's a little slow, granted, but it's still pretty nice, especially if you just want to take out a yellow at the end of your turn, right? And then the Spirit Bomb Kid Goku, he has a stun on turn 2. So next we have the Saiyan Strike version. I honestly, I think the Strike version is stronger, but it's just blast teams are just having a better time in ToP right now. Boost units, you have the Tora up there, and then you also have that Broly. I honestly, for him, I do recommend 14 stars. He does have cut in his kit, but he can be a little bit squishy. For your main roster, you do have the Namek Goku again, who is going to be acting as your one-time healer, turn 2. You have the Kid Goku, the red one, who's going to be able to super attack every other fight. He gets that 50% per fight. And then you have the Kaioken Blue Goku, the Saiyan Saga one specifically. He gets a super attack. He gets 100%. I believe it's at the end of turn 2. So going into turn 3, that's when he supers. The Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku, the yellow one on the other hand, he gets it at the start of turn 2, launches it at the beginning of turn 2. He's really fast. Ultra Gogeta, he's Ultra Gogeta. Don't really have to, I mean, unless you're Kaba, there's nothing you're doing about him, right? And then you also have the MUI Goku, who's going to be mitigating 1 attack. So next we do have the Frieza Force. We have the Zenkai Purple Ginyu on backup, Z tier. You have Monray, S tier. You're already getting that 30%, but on top of that, you also have Naval as one of your core units / boost units. So you're probably going to be getting a good amount of points from this. I can see a lot of people running this team already. But yeah, that guy has good support and he's offering some heals. You have Revival Frieza, good support, offering some heals, plus the revival just overall, right? And then you have the Red Frieza. That dude, he's getting a turn 1 stun. So is the Purple Frieza. So double stuns. You just gotta hope that those double stuns don't land on one singular unit, right? And then you have the Broly right there who's giving debuffs to the enemy team. And then Golden Glizzy, yellow. You don't need him on the team. If you needed him on the team, he would be a core unit. But he's just great for damage dealing, right? So he's getting that turn 1 super attack, keep him on a yellow tile, turn that super always into an ultimate. On the ultimate, he's landing all those debuffs. And then if he fulfills his requirements to get his second super, that's even better. And specifically, the requirements are at the start of the 4th turn, if there's 2 or more enemies remaining, you get that 100% to your special move gauge, plus it turns into the ultimate. Also, I made an error on here. I mean, there's a ton of boost units to replace and choose from right here, but I did make one. I believe those tag units, the tag Ginyus like Jason Birder and the Golda Raccoon, I believe they are S tier. So this team might be huge for the season. It might just be the Golda and Raccoon. I would have to go back and refer. So next we do have LOE. So it's gonna be pretty similar to the Frieza Force, but without all the little minion guys, right? You have the Green Frieza, Z tier. You have the Blue Metal Cooler, S tier. That dude's pretty good. Actually, I see him being ran a lot. And then for the main roster, core units, Revival Frieza has the revival, has some heals, Chilled has the base HP Z ability, and then you also, so you have the Purple Frieza, the Red Frieza, and the Green Cooler. All 3 of those units have a turn 1 stun. This is like the cheese team for ToP. This is like the Hercule team for ToP. So basically, you just gotta hope that those 3 stuns don't land on one singular unit. That would probably be like the worst RNG that you could possibly have. But other than that, you also have the Golden Glizzy. Again, keep them on a yellow tile at all times so you can upgrade your first super attack, guaranteed super attack, turn 1 into the ultimate, inflict all those debuffs. Alright, so next we do got GT. This is the blast version right here. So backup units, you have that Shinron, has the board wide support, pretty solid. And then you have the Vegeta who's offering debuffs. He's a blast based unit. You want him in the pink star range. And then main units, you have Baby. That dude is the GOAT. You probably are never going to see GT without him, even though he's pretty much just a healer. He's a core unit. He's healing every single turn. He's a core unit. Just no way around it. And then you have the Hellfighter 17, the purple one. That dude has, I think I say the same thing for him every single time. He has good support, good debuffs. I mean, what more can you ask for, right? You have the Legends Limited 17, just great damage overall. I'm pretty sure he mitigates a Blast Arts, no? Yeah, he does eat a Blast Arts. So he eats a Blast Arts, and then he also has a 50% chance to double blast. So he can potentially be doing some crazy stuff here. And then the Kid Goku, the red one, the Super Saiyan one, not the melee one that we're typically accustomed to seeing. That guy has lane debuffs for the left and right lane. The Omega is pretty good against Saiyan units, and then the full power Goku, I honestly don't think he's that notable, but he's just a Zenkai whore, right? He has the stats. And then oppositely, we have the Strike version with the Baby Vegeta, or well, yeah, Super Baby 2 on your Z tier boost right there. That dude is only getting his damage cut if you're fighting against a Saiyan. Just saying, no pun intended. And then you also have the Nova right there on the backup. He's going to be one of your S tiers. He is a pink star unit, but he does have some mitigation to him. So he has that little bubble shield going on for him. That's pretty nice. You have the Gogeta 4, incredible unit. You have the Super Saiyan 3 Kid Goku, stunning turn 1. You have the Zenkai Sin. Lots of Zenkais right here. Lots of bulkiness, tankiness. Baby, core unit. Never forget that. Never ever. And then you have the Red Kid Goku, the melee one, the base one, 50% every other fight. Or 50% every fight, super attacking every other fight is what I meant to say. And then the Purple 17, great unit all around. So next we do have Regeneration. So this is the bread and butter. I'm probably going to use my team similar to this. I know some of you guys have been not necessarily complaining, but I do see your guys' concerns with me using and abusing the Garlic Jr. So I'm probably going to use something way more similar, probably just copy and pasted of this right here, right? If you have Garlic Jr. and you're not using him, you're throwing. I'm just saying that right now. If you have the Garlic Jr. the only reason why I'm not going to do it is because I know probably a bunch of you don't have the Garlic Jr., right? So that's the only reason why I would opt to not use him. That's it. For content creator purposes, you got to use him if you have him. But anyways, Yellow Piccolo, he's going to be a healer, Z tier boost as well, the EX one. He needs to be 14 stars, guys. He needs to. He's so fragile. And then you have the green Piccolo. That dude's S tier. The green Zenkai one. That's massive for us. Gotenks guaranteed super. He's a mainstay. He's damn near a core unit. Baby, he's the definition of a core unit. You have the purple Piccolo up there. Again, I would easily just swap that man out with Garlic if you have him. The Parasite Trunks, really good unit, especially against Saiyans / hybrids. And then you have the yellow cell down there. I would replace the yellow cell with the Piccolo. That's probably what I'm gonna do. The Legends Limited Piccolo. That guy's definitely better than the cell. The cell's the next best thing, I think, right? Could be Ultra Kid Buu. And then you have the Red 21 down there as well. Really nice support. And then you do have a new unit that you guys can see peeking down right there at the bottom of the replacements. It's going to be that Fat Buu and the Hercule Assist. We'll talk a little bit about them. I might try to summon for them, or 100% I'm going to try to. I want the Gotenks really badly. So we'll see what happens, but I'm not going to use him this season if we do pull him. All right, so next we do have hybrids. So this is the strike based version. You have the future Gohan and Trunks. Make sure they are set to strike. I'm not sure what their default is, but specifically for the strike team, set them over to strike. And then you do have the purple Gohan right there. That dude is a little squishy. You need him at 14 stars as indicated by the red star right there. But you do have Pan as your core unit. That's going to be your max HP ability. You have the Fat Gotenks for the board-wide support. You have the yellow, I'm pretty sure that yellow transforming Gohan, he has a what's it called? A buff against powerful opponents, which is going to be helpful. And then you have the Princess Trunks featured from the BoJack movie. The BoJack Gohan, he's a revival unit. He also acts as a pseudo healer, right? He only gives like 1%. Like it's like a measly amount, but still. That's pretty good. That's all right? And then you have the Beast Gohan. He's basically going to be carrying most of your damage on his back. Another thing I do want to mention before we move on to the next team is that Ultra Gohan could easily be placed on here instead of one of these green units, or instead of the Trunks up there. The Ultra Gohan, he can swing both ways if you want to set him over to strike, but he's really nice in the way that if he gets hit by a strike, he mitigates it, and then he gets 100% to his blue card. And then over here for the Blast version, you have the Zenkai Gohan, the Zenkai Future Gohan sparking as your S tier, and then the Purple Kid Gohan as your Z tier, getting that 30%. And then obviously on this version, you're going to set that Purple Gohan over to Blast, whereas for the Strike, you would set him over to Strike. You just, puzzles clicking together right there, hopefully. And then for your core unit, you have Pan, max HP. Beast Gohan stays here. Beast Gohan's on both teams, right? Again, I know I keep saying this a lot, but I just want to get the point across, is that if Beast Gohan is on a Blast team, set him to Blast. If he's on a Strike team, he just stays on his default on Strike. Fat Gotenks, same thing with him. He's pretty much interchangeable between the teams because he's a defensive type. But yeah, he has that full support. You have the Revival Gohan. If you don't have I'm sure most of you guys do have the Revival Gohan right there. But if you guys have the Ultra Gohan, swap him out with the Ultra Gohan, right? So put him in there instead of the Revival. And then you have the Purple Ultimate Gohan. You have the Vegito and the, or not the Vegeta, what the heck? You have the Vegeta Trunks unit. That unit is hard to replace. I'm just saying, bro. If you don't have that unit, you might be cooked in terms of, like, having a great, like, if you need a yellow on here, this might not be the best team for you if you don't have that unit. You also have a new unit right there you see him right there, Gotenks. He's a range type. His typing is red, I believe. Yeah, he's a red unit. So if you want to, I don't know necessarily who he would replace on here, if I'm being real honest with you. I need to look at his kit because I don't even know. I don't have a grasp on what role he's going to fulfill on this team. So for the last segment, we will be talking about the new units. Let's take a look at Daima Goku real quick. So his ToP stats, maximum stats right here. He's going to be a melee type, so you're going to see him on melee Saiyans more than likely. Maybe on Sun Family too. But his Q restore speed is at 2,322. It's not good. but it's not terrible. Has the blue card, and then first ability 80% to damage inflicted, minus 15% to damage cut. I like that. At the start of the turn, he gets his health back by 1%, activates 2 times, 10% to damage inflicted, 15% to key. Oh, he's good. 15% to key recovery is a lot, and on strike or blast arts, he gets another 15% to damage inflicted, and on receiving a strike or blast arts, he restores his health by 1%, so he has 2 ways to heal. That activates twice as well. You cancel attribute downgrades in abnormal conditions, and it will activate even if ally performs a cover change. And according to battle turn, allies in range, which is going to be those 4 squares right there, above, to the left, right, and below. First turn, 10% to key recovery. Oh, for allies? Ooh. Yo, that's nuts. Second turn, 15% to damage inflicted, and third turn, 10% to special. Yo, he might be broken. Low key. He might be cooking hard. I still think like God Goku would be a better green over this guy, but if you don't have God Goku, this guy's literally free. You can just build him up with Z power. All right, let's see who's next. So we'll go for the look at the Majin Buu here, with the Hercule assist. Let's take a look at him since we are the Regeneration players. His Q sword speed's pretty strong, 2,425. Easily will get up to 2,530, maybe a little bit more. And then he has the blue card and the ultimate available to him. First ability, 70% to damage inflicted, 15% to damage cut, 15% to key. He's going to be a really fast yellow. It's going to probably pair really well with the Legends Limited Piccolo, no? At the start of the turn, own health is 50% or I don't care about that, honestly. I wish it wasn't that. Getting below 50% or getting 50% or below on regen is kind of hard to do. 15% to damage inflicted for allies in range. And it's ally support, and you inflict all enemies with attribute downgrade minus 15%. Dude, we're hardly gonna see this. At the end of turn, if there is another allied episode Majin Buu Saga or Regeneration remaining, allies in range restores health by 1%. Oh, the pseudo heals activates 2 times, and then 5% to key recovery activates twice. At the start of second turn, allies in range temper. Oh, he's just making them fast as heck, dude. He's just making everyone super fast. At the start of the third turn, multi-target, 10% to damage inflicted by allies in range, cancel attribute downgrades in normal conditions of allies in range, 20% to own damage inflicted. And before receiving a strike, cover change, health gated by 30%, strike arts. On strike or blast arts attack self, you restore your health by 1%, activates 3 times, and 10% to special move gauge activates 3 times, so 30% minimum a fight. It's not bad. Now let's take a look at Gotenks, who's going to be more so for hybrids and stuff like that. Let's take a look at his details. Maximum stats right here for ToP. He's looking at, ooh, that's really low. 2,224. Blue card and the ultimate. Start of the battle, 80% to damage inflicted, 20% to damage cut. But he can't get stunned. He nullifies the normal conditions 3 times. No stuns for him. Start of the battle, if there's an enemy tag powerful opponent or regen, 30% to special. Oh, that's kind of helpful, especially for a season like this. And you automatically upgrade it too. Doesn't even need to be on a yellow tile. At the start of the first turn, you activate your special action. 50% to damage inflicted for 2 turns, 50% to key recovery for 2 turns, and 30% to special move gauge. Oh, he's kind of cooking, I fear. He might be going crazy. First turn on special move or ultimate arts action, 30% to special move damage inflicted, 30% to ultimate damage inflicted, and look at that range. It's like lanes, but they split off. He does have a strike cover change, health gated at 30%. The first turn on enemy or first turn strike or blast arts hit enemy, you hit him, 100% chance to follow it up with another strike or blast arts. Okay, he's kind of cooking. What does his stats look like? Oh, he can be ran on the strike version. I should have put him on the strike version too. It's like literally 1 apart, and he's still getting the benefits of it. He can literally follow up with either or. That's kind of huge. I kind of like that a lot. And after receiving an attack, he gets health by 2%, activates once, 10% to damage, or minus 10% to damage received for 2 turns, cancels attribute downgrades and abnormal conditions. First turn on hit, all enemies, you inflict attribute downgrade plus 5% to damage received for 2 turns, minus 5% to health restoration for 2 turns, and minus 5% to key recovery for 2. I think they built him really good. He has a really solid kit, like really nice. And I think for the last unit, I guess we'll take a look at this goddamn Zenkai unit, bro. I don't even have him. How could they Zenkai this unit that I don't even have, bro? There's so many other Legends Limited units that I feel like were more applicable to the Zenkai than this guy. Anyways, ignore me complaining. Maximum stats right here. This is what the Zenkai stats. Q star speed 2,328. does have the blue card. I don't know if how much is going to change here, honestly. So 80% to damage inflicted, 20% to blast damage inflicted, 20% to damage cut, 30% to key recovery, and cannot be stunned. Nullifies the normal conditions 2 times. Start of the first turn, activate special action, 20% to damage inflicted for 2 turns, 10% to... Oh my god, they're going to be so fast. And some more attribute downgrade nullification. On attack against unfavorable elements, you don't tag switch, but you do get 40% to damage inflicted. On receiving an attack against unfavorable element, you don't tag switch, but you get 20% to damage cut. Started before receiving a blast arts, you do have a 30% health gated cover change to the left and to the right of them. Started the third turn, you finally perform a tag switch, and you restore health by 4%, 20% damage inflicted, and you enter the Transcendent Kamehameha Preparation. If character is defeated, preparation will be cancelled, and then you activate the Kamehameha, Transcendent Kamehameha on the 4th turn. You perform a tag switch, reverse on element factors, deals massive damage, that can't be cover changed, and it cannot be evaded or nullified. Yep, and I believe that is all the new units. Let me see, is there any Zenkai units that we missed? I just want to go ahead and double check that before we actually close out the video. No, I think they're the only ones that are up right now. Okay. So yeah, that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for this season. Hopefully this did help you. The next video is going to be the part 1 of the actual pathing, so definitely stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Later!